when the news has you confused and you can't understand what's going on. What the heck? Grab a deck for insight from Banshee and Oberon. It's WTF with TFT, WTF with TFT, WTF with TFT, let's go!
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. And this is a episode of WTF for TFT, or with TFT.
With TFT,
With
right.
TFT. And Bly. But anyway, we haven't been here in a while doing these. You know, there are so many hot button issues going on, and we've dropped the ball on a lot of them. And this one may not seem the most important issue for us to tackle right now, but we always vowed we would do a follow-up to a particular WTFT we did earlier, or late last year, and see what this year would bring, right?
And that episode was about the health of the president, because at the time in the news, a lot of people seemed to be mystified about various things that seemed to indicate maybe there was a bad health situation going on.
And so we kind of felt that in that reading, the time period between January to June of 2026 was kind of iffy. So we do want to look at this now, and we're going to focus on these next 6 months with Mr. Trump's health and see if anything has changed, gotten worse, where his status is right now. And, there's a lot of talk about invoking the 25th lately, all the way around. Even some people from other countries are wondering why we're not doing that. So why don't we see what the climate is out there on this? And I guarantee you some of the more hot button issues like Minnesota, Venezuela, Greenland, Ukraine war, we will be covering them in fairly short order.
They've certainly been in our thoughts, but with the holidays and some unexpected things happening in our personal lives, as well as with weather always adds a wonderful element of change, or I can't do that today, and maybe I can't do that for a few days.
And everybody's probably wondering, WTF is going on with this crazy weather. We are in the single digits today, and by the way, it said it was feeling like -7 out there again.
Brr.
Brr. So we're going to get started. And so this episode is called WTF is Going On with Trump's Health, an update. All right. And part of the reason we're also doing this is because there's always been so much speculation asked among readers, etc., astrologically and otherwise, sleuths on the internet looking at any little sign of health. I think this might be the last time we tackle it, or we won't tackle it again until summer for the end of the year, and maybe give this a rest.
All right, question 1. How is Trump's mental health and mental abilities functioning right now?
We're going to throw 3 cards on this. Well, the first card is the 4 of Cups reversed. Okay. The second card is the 3 of Swords reversed. And the Hermit upright. Well, it's kind of interesting to me. I think with the 4 of Cups reversed, it's indicating maybe that there is some opportunities here with the mental health and mental abilities. Well, actually, I'm not seeing opportunities here. I'm thinking in terms of this lethargy or that there might be more tiredness and things going on here. And the potential with that comes with missed opportunities or mistakes being made, things of that nature. I feel here that this could indicate that his mental faculties and abilities are slowing down.
Well, the president has a health team who hopefully, takes good care of him. This could be saying that maybe there are various other situations that overlap to some degree, and that they are focusing on the most pertinent one, the one that's the most important for his overall health, or that gets most of their share of interest. And so that to me says, how is his health operating? It needs a bit of care, and it might need special focus on maybe more than one thing. Is it going to receive it?
And when I'm seeing that Three of Swords reversed, my feeling is that maybe people are, I almost feel this is about people around him, that they're kind of feeling like they are, not as worried about the implications of his health as they used to be. They're feeling like, we can deal with what's going on here. And maybe that's what's happening here.
Well, straight up, though, the card may indicate that there is a recovery going on. It could be that something has happened that is changing his outcomes a little bit. Maybe there's been a change in, some particular protocol. So I'm going to take that more at face value.
I would take it at face value, too. I do feel there's some recovery here, but what I was going to suggest after all of this is that it's possible here that there are treatments that are mitigating some of this or attempting to mitigate some of this. Now, there has been a lot of speculation out there about him getting IV therapy for Alzheimer's disease or dementia. Frontotemporal dementia was mentioned. I mean, this could be possible. I'm looking at the sword card here and thinking, well, maybe IV therapy, and maybe some of that is working.
Well, see, I believe that's why it maybe ties into the first card, because the first card suggests to me the various options that maybe he had in terms of having treatments, and the fact that maybe they selected one in particular that maybe is helping or aiding in his recovery.
So there are opportunities here for, some improvements. Let's face it, he's not that mentally incapacitated that he can't attend these events still, make speeches, sign executive orders, which is what he does, and all of that stuff. His thinking, though, about some of these things could be a little bit off. The Hermit is an interesting card here.
Might lead us to the Hermit, because maybe to some degree
I know where you're going to go. Or they are isolating him or trying to.
And I felt that way too, of course.
But he went to Davos, and from what I could hear from, some of the things coming out of Davos was that, world leaders were not impressed. They really were not impressed. They said what they felt they had to say, but I could sense that they thought some of the stuff he was saying was off. And some were openly disputing some of it. Like, for example, NATO members' participation coming to the U.S.'s aid in the Afghan war, where he claimed NATO has never helped the U.S. in a crisis, or at 9/11. Right?
Yeah.
So, so they were correcting and concerned about some of this stuff. I feel here that maybe this attempt to isolate him more. However, he plans on getting out more. He's going to be doing a midterm convention, which has never been done before or in recent times for the Republicans. And he's going to be getting on the campaign trail again, even though he's not running. So I don't know how well this isolation is going to work. But maybe what it is saying here is that he does need a little bit more downtime and isolate more.
Right. It could only aid in the recovery suggested by card 2.
Yeah, so I'm thinking things, in my mind, I'm thinking things are pretty much the same as they were when we did this reading before. Not much better, not much worse.
This speaks more to the fact that maybe they are able to manage and control him. The Hermit card could represent the idea that they can limit, his his more public appearances in this process, and so therefore we may never know exactly, but maybe it's somewhat manageable here.
So before we shuffle the cards for a second big question, there is a follow-up card draw, and we're going to take the next three cards. How is this affecting his ability to govern? Wow. Well, it's the moon upright. I'm sorry, I'm going to have a problem reaching here. I guess I could move Bly.
Well, let me take care of it then. Okay, so, right, it's the moon.
And then we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed.
And I didn't put it over the first one, so I'm just going to put them where I
That's
do.
fine.
Eight of Pentacles reversed.
The Queen of Pentacles upright. Wow.
And the Queen of Pentacles upright.
Well, I think he's being taken care of. You know, as far as how is this affecting his ability to govern? It may not be, because people are covering for him. Again, I think we had this card, not this card, but a similar theme previously, where we felt that there were caregivers or caretakers here that, and in this case, it's governing caretakers who may be helping him make decisions for him and stuff. The moon is showing too that there's a lot of uncertainty here about his ability to govern. I really feel this is a truth, and so that's why I feel there must be help here going on, because also, I'm just covering them all, with the Eight of Pentacles reversed, it appears he's not really able to handle a lot of work.
Well, the moon was the actual first card, and I'm going to cover these two together, the moon and the Eight of Pentacles. And sometimes the moon talks about things that are mysterious or hidden, and I'm wondering if this is the people around him who are hiding the fact that he is not as capable anymore. That's the Eight of Pentacles reversed. He doesn't know how to think things through better or follow certain plans. He goes off script, things like that. He has really bad filter lately, and I'm thinking that the moon suggests the idea that he has to be covered or disguised in order to, show he's still able to govern. But in other words, it's saying that maybe there's a problem there.
I can't, it's really ironic to me. The first cards are a little bit more positive, and these cards are a little bit more negative. And so it's as if, he's functioning, but he's not at the top of his game anymore by any means. It's age catching up with him. He can't keep up with a lot of the work. They claim that he works around the clock, and he does stay up late and tweet, but I'm not really sure I can consider that part of the president's job per se. I think here the moon is saying there's just a lot of uncertainty here and questions. And I feel here that the Queen of Pentacles says there's care involved, there's caregiving involved, or somebody who's watching after and nurturing, the situation.
So it is a managed situation, but we may not know the full extent of how bad it really is for him, and therefore for the country.
All right, we're going to pick these up, and we're going to go to question 2 now.
All right. Question 2 is, how is Trump's physical or mental health? Oh wait, that was it. Did that.
It's what will Trump's physical health status look like 6 months from now by the end of June?
All right.
And I think I made a mistake here.
You repeated one. You repeated the top.
How's Trump's mental health functioning right now? How is Trump's I think it was supposed to be his physical health functioning right now. So let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're doing physical.
There's been kind of a glitch with my computer here in the way they line things up, so a little confusing.
No problem.
And I did put a wrong word in there. Trump's physical. Okay. Oh, I'm cutting them again. All right. And then we'll have a follow-up on that and how that's affecting his ability to govern. So how's he functioning right now physically? Two of Wands reversed.
Two Wands reversed.
The Four of Wands reversed.
And it's the Four of Wands reversed.
I have thoughts there. The Three of Cups upright. This is really interesting to me.
It's surreal.
Well, the Two of Wands reversed indicates to me that his physical stamina may be slowing to the point that he can't do things the way he used to. He can't move around as easily as he used to, obviously. He can't follow through with some of his strategic maneuvers fast enough. And I'm wondering here if he's really going to, with this idea that he's going to be campaigning around the country, if that's not going to wear him down. This is a card of travel a lot of times too. It can be, and it's reversed. And so I'm kind of wondering here if all of this movement, him going to Davos and back, is wearing him down physically.
Right. To me, when I look at that card, it sort of sounds like there could be some limitations happening for him in terms of that maybe they have to take more into account. He needs more time to recuperate from a lot of travel, or there may be some way he has to counter from a disorienting effect if that happens.
And I like the fact there's this big world here, because a lot is expected of a commander-in-chief, right?
Yeah.
They have and we see even with younger people who are in that role, like even Barack Obama, how much they age by the time they get out of office. And this man, regardless of whether you believe he's in perfect health or not, is, 79, 80 years old?
He's verging on 80.
Yeah. All right. So, Four of Wands here is another interesting conundrum when it's reversed. Often the times the Four of Wands is about celebration and, joy and happy, good times. But it's reversed here. And even though it doesn't mean negative things, it could indicate to me, because a lot of times the Four of Wands is about building a foundation and looking at how much you've done to build that foundation. So if we think of the foundation as a human body, right? Mm-hmm. I have a feeling here that there's some issues. He's losing a little bit of his ability to maintain his body.
I was going to say something a little bit different, but I think you're kind of saying it there too. This card could be talking about the need to manage him better too, in terms of this physical status and being able to be functionable. They need to manage him more. They need to make sure that he's on the routines that give him the drugs or treatments he needs, whatever it is, even if it's just vitamin backup. So I'm wondering if that's what this is saying too, is that, they have to watch how they move him around, limit his movement to some degree, or be aware of it, how it affects him, and then also overall manage, some of his health situations personally.
And really, I like what you said, sort of, because I get there could be people associated with that card, but when I look at the Three of Cups, I think it's more there. I think that he has a lot of people around him who are trying to prop him up, make him feel good about himself, make him feel that he's strong and healthy, and prop up all of his ideas and things to make him feel like everything is okay. That's one way I want to look at this card, but there's one other way, and that is that, Mr. Trump likes his fast food. He likes things that aren't necessarily healthy for him. And he really, his body, he really needs to watch that, because the swelling in his legs and all these different various things that people have been pointing out, it could definitely be caused by a poor diet at his age.
So, eat, drink, and be merry may cause his personal house to, have some issues.
And so now, how is this affecting his ability to govern?
Card the first. It's the upright Knight of Wands. And then it's the reversed Six of Cups. And then the reversed Two of Swords.
I don't know that it's affecting his ability to govern in the way that he is governing, and I'm going to explain rather critically why. Because the Knight of Wands here is saying that he's still getting things done and accomplished. He still has missions that he's trying to follow through on, and he is pushing them forward. No doubt, like I said, with the help of others who are bolstering him and maybe helping him with the things he wants to get done. But why am I saying this? Is because then with the Six of Cups here, I feel like right here, it's the revenge trip thing. He's being able to enact his agenda of revenge on others more than anything. His bad memories from the past and what he perceives as the people that have stood against him, that are against him, that hate him. He's out to move that forward, move that agenda forward. And there's action. There's definitely action taking place.
Well, I can't disagree with that. I think as a follow-up, though, that it maybe suggests, if I can infer, that, of course, these are things that are not necessarily good that he's trying to do. I guess it goes without saying. But really, with the Knight of Wands, that looks like a very capable way of being able to address that. And when you look at all the strength he is able to show in the way he's been able to get a hold of extreme amounts of funding for some of his missions, especially the ones that could be perceived as about getting even, retaliation.
And, if you disagree with him at all, you could be on his bad list. And when I think about the revenge mission going on here, almost everything that has been happening has been about revenge in a way. You won't give us Greenland? Revenge. I'm going to tariff you. Then he backs off because he didn't, people kind of stood up to him at Davos. But the bottom line is everything is about that. He's angry at Europe. He's angry at Canada right now. And so Canada made a trade deal with China because they can't seem to work things out with the U.S. And so to get back at Canada, he's now threatening 100% tariff on Canada, which is just ridiculous. And then what's going on in Minnesota and the blue states? He's sending ice in mass there, in droves there, where he is not doing the same thing in red states. So he is literally trying to disrupt the lives of people in states that he feels are against him. And it's very clear. There are a lot of innocent people being drawn up in this whole thing. So to me, if this is what his governing is all about, he's doing it.
All right.
So the follow-up draws, we did that, is how's it affecting his ability to govern? What will his physical health status look from now till the end of June, by the end of June? Let's just say that 6 months from now, what will it look like? I will shuffle. You will shuffle first.
No,
I will shuffle first.
So you're the one.
I know. I'm the one. I am. And if we see any signs of mental health too, I think we're going to add it in there. I think I probably mixed up those first questions and meant to add that into the other one.
Well, that's the next question, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did 2 main questions? Okay, so we'll be shuffling for both of those. I'm sorry. I thought that was a follow-up that just didn't go right. Yeah. All right.
The final one is yes or no.
Right. Okay.
Hey.
Trying to push Mr. O out of the mix. It's the Banshee Show. It's the Banshee Show. Dad, she knows all about WTFs.
I'll show you where the executive washroom is before I go.
Okay. Watch my cards.
All right, and that's, once again, what will his physical health status look like 6 months from now?
That's it.
By the end of June 2026.
Victory for him. He's got the Ace of Swords upright. The World is reversed. And the Chariot's upright. I think physically he's going to be fine. You know, last year when we first did the reading, people kept saying he would be gone by this date, that date. June was another date that came up.
Oh, look how bad he looks. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, you know, some of these physical ailments, if he gets proper care, and that's the point, is he really listening to his doctors? He obviously has not changed his diet. So it's amazing, you know, and that does say something about fast food, doesn't it? Is it as harmful as we think? I just don't know. So the Ace of Swords indicates that there is some victory for him here. He will be all right. He seems to have vigor. He seems to have things going for him. And I'm just going to go with these two here because the Chariot indicates that he is still moving. You know, he's still capable of pushing his agenda forward.
Well, I'm going to just stick with the Ace of Swords because I think it's a definite, really strong show of strength. And it could be maybe showing, too, that there's something he feels he has to personally conquer. Maybe there is like some direct news with him in health, and he says, you're right, I have to really change that or else. You know, we have seen some signs from the way he speaks about his concern about going forward in various ways. Maybe something does impact upon him that he needs to make a change. I don't see that being in his stubborn character.
Right.
But on the other hand, when we're talking about a big choice in terms of life and health, who knows? So I could see the possibility that there's some sort of rally for some reason in a particular strengthening way.
And, you know, we are talking about physical health. We have not touched on mental health. So,
Right.
I speaking as a person who has dealt with a number of family members who had dementia, Alzheimer's and dementia, I can tell you that oftentimes the physical body is still in good shape while the mental side deteriorates. So we'll check on the mental health in a minute, but I wanted to say about the World reversed for all the people who are trying to say he's done for, he's not done yet.
Nope.
He's not done yet.
I would only say myself that this just sort of suggests he will realize he still has some other, or his team will realize he has some other things that he does need to take care of, and that although they may have turned a corner or really found a way to benefit him, there's still going to be some situations that will require his work.
So I think physically he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Through till the end of June of 2026.
The Chariot, to me, just sort of says he has a sense of motivation to do that, to get there.
Yeah.
He knows he's approaching the midterms, etc.
So let's take a look. You shook the camera a little bit.
I'm so sorry.
Hey. Let's take a look at this next question. What will Trump's mental health status and, yeah, I'll let you do it again, mental abilities look like by the end of 2026?
Same question, but we're just talking about mental health, etc. Abilities, cognitive, functionability.
And this is important because physically, if he's fine, obviously, there's no reason to remove him. Mentally, if he's not fine, there may be reason to remove him, but would they do it? Good questions. So let's take a look at this.
So by the end of June, how's he looking in the upstairs department? And our first card.
It's the Empress reverse.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Guess what's back?
The moon.
Oh,
and I
boy.
think it may mean different things to each of us, but we might come closer to an agreement. Oh, it's that one again, too.
No, we didn't have the Page of Swords.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I thought it was Ace. It's Page. So it's the Page of Swords reversed, the moon upright, and the reversed Empress.
Well, this definitely paints a different picture from what we saw with the Right Now cards. The Empress reversed indicates that things might be non-productive. And when I say that, I think that, you know, his mental faculties are going to weaken. They're going to weaken. You know, dare I say it?
Go on.
Okay. Well, when we see the moon, a lot of times people think of, you know, moon madness.
Lunacy.
Lunacy. I think of also sundowning. People already have accused him of sundowning, and I have been, you know, I've seen family members who have sundown, and
we have seen it.
I'm not totally convinced he's there, but I do believe there is something going on where he is more together during the day than he is at night. But this also indicates to me that there's a lot of uncertainty with his mental health. It's all of a sudden as if there is a shift in these next 6 months, or maybe there's a shift in the minds of people, you know, around him more.
Well, because of the way we're asking the question, and because of the fact that the moon showed up earlier in a similar way, I felt that this could be talking about the possibility of keeping this down low, keeping this mysterious, keeping it somewhat hidden.
Yeah.
And so that could be the team around him not wanting to necessarily say that there is a changing status there. And just the fact that, of course, there is an association with the moon and mental health, emotional health over centuries and centuries of folklore, and more recently, you know, scientific awareness of the fact. We could also look and say that there's a change going on, that something is changing. It may be changing slowly, but something is changing.
Well, I think that something is that he's going to cover it up as much as he can. Now, when the Page of Swords is reversed a lot of times, it indicates an imposter. It indicates somebody who's trying to deceive in a way. And I mean, that's his nature anyway. And this could also, I feel, feed more into what Mr. O is saying here, that people will try to be covering this up for him. There's definitely going to be some kind of hidden agenda going on here.
Well, you know, one of the things I love about the Page reversed is that sometimes they represent a person who's kind of blunt or tactless or not very diplomatic. And of course, that could also be somebody who doesn't have quite the filter they should have and doesn't know proper or polite restraint in certain matters. And especially if you are possibly, hey, a world leader.
So I think we're going to see some enhancement of that, which stands to reason. I think with some dementia patients who have anger issues in particular, you know, they tend to get more pronounced as they start losing more abilities. And I don't know. I'm not saying that I necessarily see Alzheimer's here, but I definitely see something going on and somebody covering up for it. So there is definitely a problem here. And it's not healthy. And I would say this, the Empress reversed indicates that there's a need for care.
A need for care.
And so I think we're going to start seeing that more as the year goes on. But this is more up here than it is with the physical body.
Now remember, we are not medical practitioners or diagnostics of any sort.
Should we have said this is for entertainment purposes at the beginning of the show? We'll reiterate that, and we'll put a note out there at the beginning too to remind people of that. We're just reading the tarot cards and seeing what they have to say on these issues that people keep talking about. And so I feel that we will see a change, and I'll be curious when we revisit this in 2026, what it's gonna, June of 20, or July, I guess it would be July of 2026, and we may take a look at this again.
All right. So our final question, and it's a yes or no, and it may be a doozy, as they say.
Yes, because I want to know, it's not just if any moves will be made, because let's face it, Sri Thanadar, for example, and a few others have tried to throw articles of impeachment out there, etc. But I don't know if anybody has done 25th Amendment yet. And so I'm just wondering, personally, if there's going to be any move to remove him. And I don't know. I'm having a second thought about this, but let's do the 25th Amendment first, specifically. Okay. A yes/no on that. Will there be any moves to remove him from office due to mental, physical health concerns by the 25th Amendment process by the end of June 2026? And this is going to be a yes/no reading. And I may want to check on impeachment again, too. It's for the heck of it. I have a feeling, though, if they impeach him, it would be for other reasons than health.
Well, the interesting thing about the impeachment question is, of course, there's nothing new about it in terms of Mr. Trump. He has been impeached twice, and it really didn't stop him from doing
But that's because
anything.
the Senate didn't convict him.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I would mean the full-blown impeachment process.
So it may be a moot point to ask if he'll be impeached as well.
Yeah, we might just leave it with this because I'm very curious. So many people have brought up the 25th Amendment again lately that I see in social media that I feel it's warranted asking.
Yes, I agree.
And now that we saw the last reading, too, by June, I think it's warranted. So let's take a look here.
All right. And we're just flipping one over, or are you
Oh,
doing the count?
no, it's the count.
All right.
Wow. It's leaning towards yes.
All right, let's show those
But it's
cards.
not a definite yes.
Right.
We have the Ace of Cups, which is reversed, but it's just a place marker. It's how many aces you get in the reading that makes a yes or a no. And we have the Nine of Cups reversed here.
No one gets their wish.
In a sense.
Or no one is happy.
The Ace of Swords is here upright.
Which
and
is
so,
more likely what it means is that, removing him and throwing the country into a lot of turmoil doesn't make anybody happy, of course.
the two aces indicate that it is leaning towards yes. That's what it means. If it were three aces, it would be a definite yes. So let's take a look at this Nine of Cups in the middle. The Nine of Cups is the wish card reversed. And so I think it could mean a number of different things. It could mean that some of his excessive behavior or verbal barrages, and maybe, if people are starting to think that maybe something is going mentally on him, that is what will precipitate, this 25th Amendment taking place. And also, he will not be happy about this. He will not feel good about this at all, obviously, and he will fight this. He will fight this because he does not wish this. So he will fight this tooth and nail. And I think that it also is for the rest of us as well, because the bottom line here is that regardless whether he's 25th Amendment or not, that just means somebody who's already been complicit, I'm going to use those words, in doing this revenge agenda and other things that are going on, invading countries, wanting to take over countries, will continue because his cabinet, his vice president, is next in line.
Right. The overall trajectory and direction of this administration has been totally in the furtherance of all of these kind of ideas. And when we really compare administrations, he had restraints during the first time he served, and he made sure he had a lot less of those restraints in his second term so far.
So J.D. Vance may have his eye on the presidency, and he might be ready if called to serve, but I have this distinct feeling that he would rather start fresh than take over right now with all this stuff going on and possible economic issues happening this year that are anticipated and expected, recessions and downturns. I don't think he'll be totally happy about the situation.
Right. Has it all been really a waiting game, hoping that they could just convince him to not run again, and then JD could run and everything would kind of have settled by then?
Is it possible, too, that, that he will just start some kind of war beforehand if he senses any of this coming, whether it's the Insurrection Act and war within our own country, or whether it's war overseas with Cuba? I hear Cuba's next, according to what I've been reading, so that he will be able to stay in power. So stay tuned.
Indeed.
I think this is very interesting, and I don't think we need to go any further. Physically, he's going to be around a while. Mentally, not so sure. So I think that kind of maybe is what the cards from the previous reading was talking about, that some things are going to shift and change for the worse, but he will still be here with us. So that's all I've got to tell you guys right now.
And we do hope to address some of the other issues that we mentioned earlier, Banshee mentioned earlier. So keep watching. There will be notice about the next episode of WTF with TFT.
So, take care, everybody, and
Thanks,
stay
everyone.
safe out there in this world. And I stand with Minnesota. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.